everybody, or everyone who's watching. Just checking in for the first of the Monday live lunchtime workouts. Give us a wave or a comment if you're here and you're watching live. Obviously this is going to go up onto my page afterwards anyway, so you may be doing this in the afternoon or first thing in the morning. The choice is yours. Today I am proudly wearing a Portsmouth City badge because we are doing the Portsmouth workout. I have no idea. Yes, I thought so. I am mirror image, so if you can read mirror image, it's all good. But I'm sure you can all spell Portsmouth anyway. So it's a HIIT style workout and we're doing 10 exercises, and each exercise begins with the letter of, or the letters making up the word Portsmouth. So it's just a bit of fun. My good gym buddies have done this workout already, so they know what to expect. 30 seconds on, 30 seconds rest for each exercise. Obviously if you've got any injuries, please don't try this at home, as it were. Make sure you've got plenty of space, you're not going to bash into anything or anyone, and make sure you're not going to kind of slip on anything as well. So if you've got loose rugs or anything, move those out of the way. I've moved chairs and all sorts down to the other end of the lounge, so this bit looks very empty, that bit total mess. So all good. We're going to start with a little warm-up. So first of all, just move through the feet. So just loosening up the ankles, the knees, the hips a little bit. So we're going for quite kind of hardcore work on those 30 seconds. So we want to make sure that we're nice and warm when we're doing that. So take that into a bit of a march. So nice and tall, deep breaths in. Bring a bit of movement into the arms as well. The things that you will need for this workout apart from yourself is either 2 little hand weights, which can be replaced with 2 tins of food if that's easier, and if you have one, a resistance band. Now that particular exercise, you can use a band, you can use your tins of food, you can use something like a kettlebell if you have something like that at home, it's all good. So take this up into a little jog, just a little light bit of jogging, just to start warming up, raising the heart rate a little bit. And then come down. I'm just going to move the arms, so circle the arms round. So either one at a time or both together. You can keep walking through the feet if you want. And take the arms the other way. And then just relax the arms and take a little twist. So keep the hips facing forward, twist through the back. So you just want to warm up the waist a little bit, mobilise a little bit before you get started on any exercises. Then side to side. And then we're just going to do some little squats, so coming down and up. Now, if you think about the letters of Portsmouth, you might have worked out that S will be for squat. No surprise there. So you're sitting back and down. So weight should be in the heels. You should be able to wiggle your toes around, trying to keep the chest up and back fairly neutral. All good. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little bit warmer now. So you're just going to take those heels up behind you, and if you can, bring it to a little jog. So again, let's start warming up through, get that heart rate going. And we'll be nearly ready to go. So I'll talk you through each exercise as we go. We're going to do it twice through, so the second time through you'll be total experts. There's various levels that you can do for most of the exercises, so it's then up to you as to whether you want to start with the more difficult, do an easier one second time round, or the other way round. I'd probably recommend, if you're not sure on anything, to go with an easier version. Okie dokie. So, we've got a couple of live viewers. Hello, good to see you. and we will get started with the exercises. So P in this case is for press up. So you can either do a full press up, so hands nice and wide. If you've got a mat, they'll be at the width of the mat or a little bit wider, coming down chest to floor or up. You can also do them on your knees, 3/4, same. Or you can even do a box press up, where you start with your knees under your hips and your hands under your shoulders, and then you're coming down, pushing up. Make sure you're using the muscles in your arms if you're doing that version. It's still pretty effective. So pick which version you're doing. We will start off the timer. Press the right button and then we will go. So press ups first of all for 30 seconds. As I said, you can do the full press up all the way down to the floor and up. Make sure that you're holding in your tummy so you're supporting that back really well. Or you can stick with 3/4 press ups. These are often called ladies press ups. Or you can go down to the box press up version. It's completely up to you. If you've got a sort of achy shoulders or anything, do a slightly easier version and relax. So stay down on the floor. The next exercise is the oblique bike. So you're going to be coming down to the floor, lifting the feet up, and then taking opposite elbow to opposite knee. So just take a nice deep breath. Get yourself ready. We'll get a little beep from the beeper in a sec. Need to have it like on a big screen or something. So oblique bike. So opposite elbow to opposite knee. If you find that you're rocking around a little bit too much in the hips, just bring the feet down. Take one leg up. Keep yourself stable. You don't want to be rocking too much with the pelvis. This is all about working through those oblique muscles which are at the side of your abdominals. So keep going. You can do these as fast or slow as you want. And stop. Just make sure with any exercise you're doing them under control. That is the way to go. So next up, P-O-R. So R is for, oh my goodness, rotating plank, of course it is. A great favourite. So you come into a normal plank, either on your knees or on your feet, and then you're rotating into a side plank. Off you go. So 30 seconds are starting now. This is obviously the hardest version. You're trying to keep your body in a nice neutral alignment. If you want to go down to knees, you can do the same. That's fine. If you want to come onto your forearms, you can do either version from your forearms as well. If your wrists are a little bit sore, that is an option. And relax. Hopefully you've done both on the same side. So T is for tricep dips. If you've got a little chair or something that you can do your tricep dips off, it makes them a little bit harder, but you also get a better range of movement. Unfortunately, my chairs are all shoved over there. So you're just bending into the arms and pushing yourself up. So hands face in towards you, bend the arms, push up. So really try and just use the arms to push you up. Don't use your abs to pull up. So you can bring your hips off the floor if you like. And again, really concentrate on using your arms and not your leg strength to pull you up. And the further you have your legs away, the harder it is because the more weight is going through your arms. These are toughies. And relax. So onto the S, as I warned you in the warm-up, that is squats. So feet hip width apart, a little bit wider if you wish. Toes either facing forward or slightly turned out. And you're going to sit back and down. So make sure it's like the chair that you may have been using for your tricep dips, just sitting down onto that chair. Trying to keep the chest nice and lifted. So we've got 1 second and then we're off again. I'll tell you what, those 30 seconds that the rest seem to go a lot faster than the 30 seconds that we're actually doing the work. So if this is far too easy for you and you really want to go for it this lunchtime, the option is to bring that to a squat jump. So make sure you're landing nice and quietly. We don't want a herd of elephants or the neighbours to come round. But really pushing through those big muscles in the legs and relax. So halfway through onto the M, another favourite with a good gym team, mountain climbers. I love these. If you're all happy with wrists and shoulders and everything, you do these from a high plank position. Any problems with the wrists, you can do this from a forearm position. Either is good. And off we go. So you're just bringing the knees towards the chest. Now you can do it as a run. If you're on a carpet with shorts on, be careful of your knees. You don't want to be bashing them or burning them. If this is too hard, just take it down to a bit of more of a sedate level. It's all about moving those legs, so make it cardio, but also working that core. Oh, and relax. Next one, this is where you may want to grab your little weights or your tins of whatever, chickpeas for me today. You're doing overhead circles. So 1, 2. Try and, if you're going to do big ones together, make sure you don't clash your knuckles or anything like that. So get yourself ready. Circle overhead. So option for this one is to make it a little bit more cardio as well. So if you're a bit of a aerobics child of the 80s or 90s, had a little bend in between, feels like a kind of aerobics move that we should have some really cheesy tunes on to be doing. So keep working on that one. And relax. Next one is the U, which is upright row. So option is use your 2 cans together, bringing it up, down. Use a heavier weight if you've got one, or grab a resistance band, pop 1 foot in, and then you're going to bring those elbows up. Be careful of the wrists on this one. Make sure they stay in line. If you've got, again, so lead with the elbows, that's the most important thing. Keep those wrists fairly close to each other. If you've got shoulder issues, you might want to just stick with the smaller weights, so the cans. It's totally up to you. Obviously, if you haven't got a band, you'll be using the cans anyway. Oh, 2 more seconds, nearly there, and you are done. So, pop them out of the way, move everything else out of the way. Second T in Portsmouth is for toe touches. So you're going to stand with your feet nice and wide. Take your arms into a T shape. Really switch on the abs for this one. So brace those abdominals, and then you are going side to side, like so. So you've got 3 seconds, and we're off. So touching the toes. Now if you've got any back problems, this might feel a little awkward, so just don't twist as far, or bring your legs down and do a little toe touch like that. That's actually quite hard because you'll be holding that squat position. So yeah, make sure you're pulling in those tummy muscles to support your back. And relax. Final exercise in the first round through of the Portsmouth workout is H for heel kicks. So you are literally kicking your heel up to your bum. What I'd like you to think about is kicking it up directly beneath you rather than doing it as a quad stretch with that knee down. So you're bringing the knee up as well. So again, your choice whether you want to run it or whether you just want to march it. Either way, off we go. You're getting a good cardio workout. You can add in a little bit of running arm action as well. Try and keep that chest nice and high so the legs are doing lots of work, but the core is nice and stable. So this is the last one of this round, then we get a nice rest. So keep it going, or you can go really hard on this, so go a bit turbo, be fast, and relax. So, take a little moment to get your breath. Have a little drink if you've got one with you. We'll go again in probably about 1.5 minutes. This is going to alarm at the end of 30 seconds, because it gives you 30 seconds rest after the whole thing. So just ignore that. But yeah, just take nice deep breaths. Heart rate goes back down to somewhere around normal. Thank you very much. It's ready to go again. So, that was the first round of the Portsmouth workout. As I said, do the whole thing again, same exercises, so fairly straightforward. It won't be a test as to whether you can remember, because I can never remember them all, so I have to write them in a little list. So the P is for press up, the first O is for the oblique bikes down on the floor, the R is for the rotating planks, T is for tricep dip, S for squat or squat jump, M for mountain climbers, O for overhead circles, U for upright row, T for toe touches, and H for heel flicks or heel kicks, whichever you prefer to call them. When I was writing this through, because this was a workout that I did for the Good Gym lot, I had something different written for the R, and then I was like, no, I don't remember. So I had to go back and like find my little video that I'd done for them, and I was like, oh, the rotating plank. How could I forget that? It's quite an evil exercise. So, sorry about that one. Cool. Right, so hopefully you've got your breath back and you're ready to go again for round 2. So the lovely timer is set and ready. The cans are at grabbing distance. That one's around and I've still got lots of space. So if we're ready, let's go again. So let's start with those press ups. Let's press the right button. Off we go. So again, whichever option you want to take, down and up for 30 seconds. If you want to start on the hardest option, and then if you're starting to fatigue, bring yourself down to the knees. That is absolutely fine. Do what is right for your body. This is going to stay on the Facebook group, so you can come back in a couple of weeks and do it again, should you wish. It's all good. And relax. Pop yourself onto your back. So it's oblique bikes, so no need to even stand up for this one. You always joke in my classes that we'll spend a lot of time lying on the floor, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't get to do any work. It's not a relaxation thing. Ooh, 7 more seconds to go, so get yourself ready in position. Bring the legs up if you're using up legs at the time. Off we go. So elbow across to opposite knee. Try and make sure your hands are just lightly by the side of your head, so you're not pulling on that neck. If you find that your neck is getting a little bit sore, you can relax the hands back into it and maybe just don't twist quite so much with the upper body. Make sure those legs are working. And relax. So get ready for the rotating planks. They're still on the floor. Obviously don't forget to breathe during these exercises. Keeping breathing is really important to get oxygen into those muscles, especially some of the more static ones. We tend to like hold our breath, but we need to keep breathing, so do keep thinking about that one. So plank position again, forearms or up on your hands, either works. Take the main plank position and then rotate through to each side. Make sure you're keeping that shoulder nice and stable. If you're getting a big wobble on these, then try a slightly lower version. So either off the knees or off the forearms might be a little bit easier. So this again is really working through that waist, keeping it engaging. Oh, and relax. Tricep dips. Goodness me, the brain's going. Another option for these ones, if you wanted to, is to grab those small weights and go for a tricep kickback instead. So you come into a kneeling position and then hinging forward, really switching on those tummy muscles and then kicking back. So I'm going to stick with these ones. If you want to take the tricep dip option, that's absolutely fine. We're working the same muscles. If you're doing this one with me, just make sure your elbows are just wedged in to your side. So you want the lower arm to be moving, the upper arm pretty much stays still, and the work is going on in the back of the upper arm, the bingo wing area. Almost there. And relax. So we're coming up for S, which is squats or squat jumps. Again, your choice. If you don't want to have the up and down movement, you could do a squat hold. That burns quite a lot for 30 seconds, or even you can do a wall sit, so a squat against the wall as an option. So many options, always so many options with exercise. So if you're going for a squat, let's start. Again, go for that squat jump if you want to work really hard. Sitting back and down into those heels, trying to keep the chest lifted as much as possible. If you find yourself really sitting forward in these, particularly at the bottom of the exercise, it can indicate that you've got quite tight hip flexors, and a lot of us have that from sitting at desks at the minute, so we'll stretch them off at the end anyway. And relax. So we're halfway through the second half, so the end is in sight. It's all good. Mountain climbers are next. Yay! I don't know why I really like this exercise. I think it's because it's just quite hard. Lots of people I know hate it, so hey, instructor's prerogative, I guess. So we've got 5 seconds before we're going the mountain climbers, so assume your chosen position for them. Up on the hands, down on the forearms, off we go. So running, really almost trying to kick your elbows with those knees. Something that's quite good to focus on is trying to keep the knees going back and forward in quite a straight line that's about hip width distance. So make sure your knees aren't kind of crossing the midline of the body while you're doing this. Must be nearly there. Hey! And relax. Coming up for the overhead circles. So grab those little weights. Obviously the weights or cans of beans or whatever are completely optional. You can still improve your kind of mobility of your shoulders by doing this without any weights. Ooh, getting a bit warm in here now. So 3, 2, 1, off we go. So circle the arm overhead. I kind of feel the need to do it in a sort of semi-aerobic style. I don't know why. That was all those years of training back in the 90s. I did my Exercise to Music Award in 1999. That makes me feel very old. But it's still coming quite useful even recently. Who knew? 3, 2, 1, relax down. Next one is the upright row. This time I will continue with the cans. As I said, I think in the intro, if you've got something like a kettlebell or heavier weights, even like a medicine ball or something, it's amazing what bits of kit we've got lying around in the house. You can do this exercise with that, so a little bit heavier. So really focusing on leading with the elbows and pulling those shoulders kind of back and down. Off we go. So I don't know if you can see yourself in your screen, probably not because it's a one way, but if you've got anything you can see your reflection in, just check that all the way through those elbows are above your wrists. So it's like you're making a giant smile at the top. Keep those moving. Same principle if you're using the band. It's the same exercise, it's just different resistance. And relax. Next up is the toe touches. So again, just look after that back. It's really about bracing those abs. So it's as if someone was going to throw something at you and it was going to hit you in the stomach, you want to be kind of prepared for that. So legs nice and wide, hinging forward from the waist, holding that tummy in, taking the arms out and then touching opposite arm, or opposite hand, sorry, to opposite toe. So keep breathing through this one. Unless you're going super fast, it's not so much of a cardio kind of challenge. That's okay, because we know that our final exercise, we can make that as hard as we want or as easy. And relax, roll up. So last one, if you remember, H for heel flicks or heel kicks, bringing the foot up underneath your bum. So it's really kicking into the bit that you sit on rather than the fleshy part that sticks out. I mean, I'm speaking for myself here. So if you want to put some running arms in as well, thinking about going forward and back, try not to cross the midline with those. It's all good. So go on the heel flick. So this is actually quite a good running drill if you are runners, and I know I have runners watching right now. This is kind of teaching your brain and body connection about picking that leg up, so rear leg recovery. It's really important, especially if we're doing cross country, because we need to be able to kind of jump over things, but we need to be kind of cycling through on that leg. Oh, and we're done. Brilliant. Woo. Well done if you've played along, as it were. Hopefully you haven't just been sat there having a cup of tea, drinking and laughing at me, getting all out of breath, which I'm sure, knowing you guys who are watching, you will have definitely been following on with enthusiasm. Hopefully for people who are watching a little bit later, similarly they will be joining in and working up a little bit of a sweat, through lunchtime or after work or whenever they're doing it. So obviously we can't just leave it there, we need to do a little bit of a stretch off. But let's just get our breath back, get the heart rate back down to somewhere around what it is normally. I just want to mention as well, Wednesday morning at 7, which for people who aren't working at the minute have gone a little bit like, well, that's far too early in the morning. I'm actually in work from home for the whole of that day afterwards as well. So I want to kind of get myself up and ready for the day. I'm doing a stretch. It's not really a workout, it's just a kind of stretch and mobility exercises in the morning, just to kind of release any stiffness. Obviously that can be done any time of day as well. It's going to all sit on the Facebook group. So give me a shout if you've got any particular areas you'd like to stretch, anything you'd like to know, any comments on this, anything you'd like to see more of, less of, absolutely fine. I've kind of put it out there that I'm going to do a crazy lunchtime workout every Monday and a stretch every Wednesday morning. So I'll probably have like crazy bed hair, but you can come in your pyjamas because nobody can see. Right, let's do a little stretch off. So first up, it's a little bit of a balancing one, so you might want to hang on somewhere. You're going to take one foot up, grab a hold of the foot on about the shoelaces, and then pull it in towards you. So you want to have your knees in the same line as each other, but they don't need to be squashed together, they just need to be hip width apart, so in a kind of normal alignment. Push into that hand, you'll really feel the stretch going down that front thigh. Then you're going to take that leg that you've stretched, pop it straight out in front of you, bend the other leg. This is to stretch the hamstrings, so push the bum back and down as far as you can. You can either support your weight on your bent leg, or if you're fairly flexible and this works for you in your hamstring length, you can support your weight on the floor. Either is fine as long as you can feel the stretch in the back of that leg. Okie dokie, come up onto the other leg. So the leg you've just had out in front of you, that's now the leg that you're going to balance on. Grab a hold of the other shoelaces. Whoops. Use the wall if you want to, put your arm out. Someone once said to me about, pretend you're holding a pint. I'm not really sure that I'd ever hold a pint standing on one leg, but there we go. So really pushing through, feel the stretch at the front of that leg. Bring that leg forward, nice and straight, sitting back and down, either supporting yourself on your bent leg or supporting yourself on the floor. One side you might be able to support on the floor and not so much the other side. We're all a little bit wonky, aren't we? So all different. Bring yourself up. Now if you've got a wall or something stable near you, you can just press against that and stretch both calves at the same time. If not, take a big step forward, push the foot back. So both feet are flat, facing forward. Feel the stretch at the bottom of that back leg. And swap over. And then we're going to do a hip flexor stretch. So if you start from kneeling, and if kneeling is no good for you, you can do a similar stretch using a chair. So I'll just demo this one. So step forward with one leg, then you want to tuck your tailbone under. So you're scooping in with the abs. That should feel that in the stretch. Feel that in the hip flexor, sorry. Bring the same arm up, and then if you need to stretch a little bit deeper, lean over and away. And then swap sides. So if you need to do this on a chair, you can stand up. You just put one foot on the chair and then tilt the hips under. You will still feel that stretch going down that hip flexor. So as long as your legs are at 90-90, it doesn't really matter whether they're at 90 on the floor or up on a chair. So stretching up and over if you need to deepen that stretch a little bit. And you're just going to come down on the floor. We're just going to sit with our legs quite wide and then just windscreen wiper the knees down. So just mobilise the hips a little bit. And then stop on one side. Bring the arm forward and lean in. So this will stretch the glute on the leg that you are leaning over. Some people will have loads of flexibility, they'll be able to lie down on this leg. Other people will definitely feel it from quite high up. Swap over sides. And then just bring yourself to a comfortable seated position for a quick tricep stretch as we work them quite hard. So take one arm up, place it between your shoulder blades, and then you're pressing the elbow back. So you should feel the stretch down this arm. And swap sides. I'll just be face on to you for this one. Final one. Hands behind you. Either clasp the hands together or pop them on your lower back. Squeeze the shoulder blades back. So you want to stretch out that chest because it worked really, really hard on the old press-ups. Okie dokie, we are all done. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and as I said, let me know if you've got comments, questions or requests and I will do my best to answer them. Take care everyone, have a good day.